Up until this point, we've been talking about similar figures and how to set up a proportion to solve for missing sides of a similar figure. So now we're going to cover a couple of types of problems that you can also solve with a proportion dealing with parts of a circle. So we constructed a parts of a circle book and covered certain parts of a circle before we started to talk about the proportions that we can set up. So the first thing we want to do, or the first type of problem that will need a proportion, is when it wants us to find the area of a sector. So we're going to go ahead and title it that. Area of a sector. And a sector on a circle is going to be, maybe we've called it the piece of the pie. So it's going to have two radii, and it's going to include the arc, and it's going to be the area of that piece of the pie. So if we draw a radius, and then another radius, and then this would be the arc, just like the arc of a rainbow. The area would be all of this piece here. So I'm going to go ahead and label it sector and define it. Region between two radii and arc. And shade it so we can remember that we're calculating for this entire piece. Normally the problem will give you your central angle measure, or give you what you need to find your central angle measure. So we'll say this one's 40 degrees, and it will normally give you the length of your radius, or something to find the length of your radius. With these two types of problems, when you go to set up your proportion, the thing to remember is that on the right-hand side is always going to be dealing with degrees, the degrees of the problem. So the top part, the first part, will be the measure of the central angle, and that is usually given to you over the total number of degrees in a circle. So this will never change because the total number of degrees in a circle is always 360. The left-hand side is going to deal with whatever it is you're calculating for. So in this case, you're calculating for the area of a sector. So the part that we don't know will always go on the top of the right-hand side, the x. So x and 360 are always diagonal from each other. So we're looking for the area of a sector. We need to put the smaller part over the whole. So the whole in this case would be the area of the circle. And let me write that x represents the area of a sector. Okay, now we can plug in what we have to solve for the problem. So what is the measure of our central angle?
40.
40 degrees. And we always put that over the total number of degrees, which is 360. The area of the sector is what we're trying to find. How do we calculate for area of a circle?
Cross and multiply.
We need to find this first. How do we find the area of a circle? There's a formula.
2 pi r.
Yeah.
It's pi r squared.
Yeah, pi squared.
Then we can plug in the radius that we have, which is 10. Now we can cross multiply, which is what you already need to do. So you end up with 360x equals pi 10 squared times 40. And divide by 360 to get x alone. X is going to equal 34.9. Okay?